Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Obsidian River Productions. Our guest today is Nat Thompson, a lover of audio fiction and the founder of Obsidian River Productions, an endeavor making waves in the world of audiobooks. First off, could you introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us a bit about what Obsidian River Productions is?
Happy to do that. I'm Nat Thompson. I am the founder of Obsidian River Productions. I've been in technology for over 25 years and have loved classic fiction since I was very young. I married the two in the platform that is Obsidian River Productions to help provide accessibility to books that may be a challenge for those that can't access the written word as easily as audio. So Obsidian River is the culmination of that and the production of classic fiction through audio narratives.
Wow, Nat, that's quite the journey, merging your passion for technology and classic fiction. You've touched on something quite profound there, accessibility. There are many out there who can't, or perhaps find it difficult to, access written words, and audiobooks are a lifeline for them. Given your background in tech, what challenges or opportunities did you see in the market that led you towards setting up Obsidian River Productions specifically?
I've enjoyed audio fiction since I was very young, 4 or 5 years old. I would sit in front of the speaker of my mother's record player and listen to read along books of Disney stories and things like that for as long as I can remember. When I got into the professional world, the reality was I had a commute of over 1 hour each way every day, and I had that for 20 plus years. So I would listen to books on tape, books on CD, and then streaming audio when that came around. So I kind of evolved through every medium possible, and that really just helped the drive be a lot more enjoyable than it would have been without those narrations to go along with me. The reality of that is that can get expensive if you're buying CDs or downloading from a commercial service online to get your fiction. What I found was through public domain works, there are a lot of classic stories that are available to be produced as audiobooks. So that's what I've been doing with Obsidian River Productions. Works from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Bram Stoker, Mary Shelley. Those are the kind of things that can be done very affordably with modern AI technology, and the results are pretty astonishing how well they come out in the final production. So I put my technology background together to build that and create a process, and that's where Obsidian River Productions stands today.
Fascinating, Nat. It's clear that your personal journey, from the simple joys of listening to Disney stories as a kid to the practicalities of long commutes in adulthood, has deeply influenced your approach with Obsidian River Productions. It's commendable that you've been thinking of affordability and accessibility for the wider audience, especially when the costs can pile up over time. Given that you've been an audiobook aficionado across different mediums and have witnessed its evolution, what do you believe sets apart the audiobooks produced by Obsidian River Productions? You mentioned classics like works from Doyle, Stoker, and Shelley. What has the response been from listeners, and how have they engaged with these timeless tales in the modern audio format?
The main difference or differentiator that Obsidian River Productions brings to the table is the affordability. Every work that I produce on Obsidian River is freely available via my YouTube channel to anyone that wants to partake of it. So that is where the difference lies. I'm not charging for access to this content. There's no gatekeeping. It's out there available for anyone that wants to consume it. The responses have been fantastic. Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the very first Sherlock Holmes mystery, just took off when it was released on YouTube. It's had over 50,000 hours of watch time in its first month. So there is a very hungry audience out there for this kind of content, and I can't wait to put more out for everyone's consumption.
That's truly incredible, Nat. The fact that you're offering this content freely, without any barriers, is both commendable and forward-thinking. The response to Study in Scarlet alone speaks volumes about the hunger for quality audiobooks. And to think of it, 50,000 hours of watch time? That's a testament to the value you're offering. Speaking of the classics, it's heartening to hear that there's still a significant appetite for them in our digital age. Given the vast array of classic literature out there, how do you go about choosing which books to produce next? What's your criteria or process for selecting the next masterpiece to share with your audience?
Really, the criteria I use is research-based and audience feedback-based. So when I hear from listeners or viewers that there's a particular story that they want to see produced, I see what's possible. We do get a lot of requests for modern works, which are difficult in the early stages of the enterprise, mainly just because the licensing costs are a huge factor when it comes to those modern works. However, if something is in the public domain, that makes it much easier to produce as an audio work. Other than the audience feedback, I do use search engine statistics to find works that have high search volume, that have a lot of interest out there every month to be produced. So I'll take that, combine the two, figure out what is next on the production agenda, and get that produced.
That's a brilliant strategy, Nat. Leveraging both audience feedback and search engine statistics provides a balanced approach. Listening to what the audience wants while also using hard data ensures that Obsidian River Productions always has its finger on the pulse of what people want. It's interesting to hear about the challenges with modern works due to licensing costs. Given this constraint, have you considered any collaborations or partnerships with modern authors who might be looking for platforms to bring their works to life in the audio format?
That's actually a really timely question. We have started a service at obsidianriver.com/authors that is intended for just that purpose. The traditional cost of audiobook production is typically out of reach for an independent author. But with the technology we're using, the Easy Audiobooks AI method, that becomes far more affordable. We've currently signed 2 authors at present that we are working on producing their works now, so stay tuned for those. But that is the goal, is to allow authors to build their own works as audiobooks, which is a very, very in-demand format for audiences at a cost that is achievable. And we offer revenue sharing models, so it becomes even more affordable there. We also like to help them build their own online presence on YouTube to grow their audience and enable them to do their creative work that they love and keep producing more and more of their content for the world to consume.
Wow, that's a phenomenal initiative, Nat. The idea of making audiobook production more affordable and accessible for independent authors is genuinely commendable. It sounds like you're not just providing a service, but creating an ecosystem where authors can thrive, connect with their audiences, and grow their brand. With the explosion of self-publishing and the increasing number of indie authors, it's no surprise that many of them struggle to break through the noise. But audiobooks offer a unique way to engage audiences that perhaps print or ebooks can't. Considering the success you've had with classic literature, do you see any challenges in shifting or expanding your focus towards modern indie works? And also, how do you envision blending these contemporary stories with the classics on Obsidian River Productions?
So, putting the two together, the classic fiction works and the modern works, is going to come down to feedback from our audience. We don't want to hit a discordant note by dropping modern works into our classic feed if our viewers are not excited about that opportunity. What would work better in that scenario would be a separate channel for that content, that modern works. However, if the feedback we get from our viewers is that they would love to interchange between the two, then we'll be happy to interleave classic works and modern works together. So there's one easy stop for our viewers to consume both forms of content. Really, it's going to come down to asking our users, our viewers, what they would prefer and accommodating those wishes so that they get an experience that's enjoyable and something they want to continue with.
It's genuinely refreshing to hear a content creator prioritize their audience's feedback to such an extent. Keeping your finger on the pulse of what the audience wants is critical in any creative endeavor, and it's clear that Obsidian River Productions is deeply committed to delivering the best experience. Building on that, the audiobook industry has seen immense growth over the past few years. How do you see the future of audiobooks and audio storytelling in general? Given the integration of AI and advanced technologies into your production, do you see a shift in how narratives will be delivered in the future, and how is Obsidian River Productions gearing up for that?
AI voice narration is just going to get better and better. Where it is now is miles and miles ahead of where it was just a year ago. So the production quality is just going to continue to increase, and more options are going to be available for AI production. Right now, it's a pretty straightforward production process that requires some manual intervention and tweaks to get it to a good quality production. I see in the next couple of years the tools evolving to a point where that just becomes easier and easier, where you can indicate which voices narrate which portions of a manuscript or influence inflection. All of those things will be easier and easier with every iteration of the technology. So authors are just going to be more and more enabled when it comes to producing their works while leveraging AI assistance.
It's exciting to consider the possibilities. As technology continues to evolve, It's clear that the audiobook industry will benefit and see even greater transformations. But as with all technology, there can be concerns. Some might say that AI might lead to the loss of the human touch in narration, making audiobooks less personal or authentic. How would you respond to such concerns? Do you believe that there is a unique quality to human narration that can't be replicated? Or do you see AI eventually bridging that gap?
I think there's always going to be a place for human narration. The AI narration is something that lowers cost and improves accessibility for production. I don't think it will ever replace parents reading to their children. I read books to my three daughters when they were young, and that was just an enjoyable bonding experience that we had. I think there's always going to be places for that and for human productions of works, because humans have their interpretation of the written word, and that interpretation is an artistic expression. So I think there will definitely always be that portion of works being produced that is necessary and desired for narration. However, I do think AI is going to continue to get better and better, and it will be harder and harder to distinguish AI narration from human narration. So there may be a concern there, as if there's ever some AI work being represented as human. I do think there definitely needs to be some attention paid to those issues, but I don't think will ever fully replace the human version of artistic expression.
That's a reassuring perspective. The bond of a parent reading to their child, the shared experience, the emotion behind the voice, it's irreplaceable. It's also refreshing to hear that despite the rapid advancements in AI technology, there's a strong acknowledgement of the irreplaceable quality of human artistic expression. Now, turning back to Obsidian River Productions, where do you see its future? Let's say 5 years down the road, with the ever-growing and improving landscape of AI and technology, what do you envision for Obsidian River?
It's going to be important, one, to stay on top of the technology as it comes out. There's just going to be so much rapid growth and improvement in the tools and techniques of AI that keeping focus on that and learning that is going to be very important. But all of that serves the viewers of the work that we're producing. So we have to have our eyes open and our ears listening to what our audience is saying they want, they like, they don't like, so that we can stay in touch with their desires. If we don't do that, we can have all the technology in the world and be absolute wizards when it comes to wielding it, but we won't have an audience left to consume what we're producing. So very much focused on our audience and their feedback and their interaction with us, while staying current and up to date with the tools and technologies that are going to be brand new, not just 5 years from now, but 6 months from now.
That's incredibly insightful, Nat. Technology might be the medium, but the audience is indeed the heart of any creative endeavor. The symbiotic relationship between creators and their audience is timeless. Your dedication to staying attuned to your listeners, to serve them even better, speaks volumes about Obsidian River's commitment. One last thing before we wrap up. For someone new to your channel or to audiobooks in general, which one of your productions would you recommend they start with? Something that encapsulates the spirit of Obsidian River Productions.
There's one production that's the nearest and dearest to my heart. It's the first one I actually produced to prove out the concept of Obsidian River Productions. It's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And the reason it's so important to me is it is a story that my grandfather would tell me over and over again when I was very young, 5, 6, 7 years old, and I would beg him to tell that story over and over again whenever the opportunity presented itself. He just had a way of putting his own experience and inflection on it that just fascinated me. And that story has stuck with me all through the years. And that's why I produced it first for Obsidian River Productions and made it available so that maybe someone out there that didn't have the opportunity to hear that from a grandparent or a parent or aunt, uncle, or friend can hear that and get the same spine tingling sensation that I did and enjoy it for a lifetime like I have.
That's a truly heartwarming story, Nat. The power of a tale shared through generations, the magic of a family legend. It's incredible how deeply these memories are ingrained in us. It's no wonder the legend of Sleepy Hollow holds such a special place for you. This speaks to the very essence of storytelling, creating and sharing experiences that transcend time. Lastly, for any aspiring creators out there looking to harness technology and their passion for stories, what advice would you give them based on your journey with Obsidian River Productions?
I would say get started. AI technology is becoming easier and easier to use. I know just thinking about it can be intimidating for someone that's not been in the technology world, but it is becoming more and more accessible to everyone, regardless of level of technical expertise. If you need a hand, our author services offering is available at obsidianriver.com/authors, and we'll be happy to talk to you, walk you through the process, and see if there's a service that's right for you and your manuscript production. But if you just have questions, we're there to help too. So feel free to reach out to us and let's talk about what you want to create and how best to leverage AI to get that accomplished.
That's invaluable advice, Nat. There's always that initial hesitance when stepping into new territory, but as you've pointed out, just taking the first step can make a world of difference. And it's inspiring to hear that Obsidian River Productions is so welcoming and supportive of new creators. In wrapping up, I'd just like to say it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and the journey of Obsidian River Productions. Your passion for storytelling and your commitment to making classic and modern literature accessible to all is commendable. For all our listeners out there, definitely check out the incredible work Obsidian River Productions is doing. Thank you, Nat, for joining us today and sharing your story. Wishing you and Obsidian River Productions all the success in the world. Before we sign off, dear listeners, I'd like to direct your attention to the description and show notes below. There, you'll find a treasure trove of resources from Obsidian River Productions. Whether you're a fan of classic tales, an emerging author, or simply curious about the world of AI narration, the details and links provided will offer you a deep dive into all that Obsidian River Productions has to offer. So don't miss out. Once again, a huge thank you to Nat Thompson for sharing his journey with us. Until next time, happy listening.